Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with speaking question number one for the TOEFL iBT. On speaking question number one, you may be familiar with this. This is more of an independent question where you can make an open opinion. The question is not closed. Usually that's the difference between questions one and two. Question one is more open. Question two is where they're going to give you a choice between two options, or ask you, do you agree or disagree with a certain choice? And so that's the difference between questions one and two. Question one and two are the same in one respect. A question will appear on the computer screen. The narrator will read the question after it appears and ask for your opinion. You will then be given 15 seconds to think about your answer, and then you'll have 45 seconds to respond. So a lot of students always ask, the two of their main problems, which we're going to talk about, are the 15-second time limit in terms of how to use that, and also the 45 seconds. Both are enough time for you to do what must be done. 15 seconds is enough time for you to generate your notes, and 45 seconds is enough time to generate your answer. The key thing with question number one is practice. You must practice a lot to get better. The more you practice, the better you'll get at generating ideas. The more you'll be able to think on your feet. The better your automaticity will be. Automaticity is how fast words come from your mind out of your mouth. Alright, so you have to think about that when we're talking about question number one. Alright, you have some different categories of questions for number one. General opinion. They may ask you, what do you consider the most important characteristic of a supervisor? Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast to cities you visited. Like the least. People travel by airplane, train, and automobile. Which is your least favorite form of travel? Alright, you also might see that like the least question show up as which one do you not like to do? Okay. They're starting to do that negative question a lot more in terms of asking which one would you not like to do. Like the most. Descriptions. Sometimes the question might ask you to describe something. Describe a custom in your country that you would like other countries to adopt as their own. Multiple options. Many times you can have a multiple options question, and they'll ask you. You can choose between three different categories. Advantage, disadvantage question. So you have several different types of questions. The important thing is for you to go ahead and practice doing all the different types of questions so that you can have a good idea of the language patterns and sentences that you want to be able to use. And use those same patterns and same structures over and over and over again. Here's some question one cheats that I have for you. Alright? For question number one, learn how to steal time. Alright, because very often the question will appear on the screen and you can read and understand it much faster than the narrator is speaking. So as soon as you understand the question, start outlining immediately. Don't wait for the narrator to finish everything he has to say. Alright, this way you can actually get maybe 20 to 23 seconds to outline as opposed to 15 seconds. This is a very helpful cheat. Okay, very helpful cheat. As soon as you understand what he's saying, immediately start. Alright? Another cheat that will help you to get a great speaking score is to not be so fast to get to the speaking section. Alright, now this is a good one. And sometimes you can get away with this one, sometimes you can't, depends on where you're taking your test. But take your time with the reading and listening sections of the exam. Don't be so fast. A lot of students try to hurry up and get through the reading, get to the listening, and they're in such a hurry. A lot of that is because they're nervous, but I want you to take your time. Okay? Take your time. Why? If you're one of the last ones to get to the speaking section, you can virtually listen to the other speakers and get a good idea of what the questions are for the entire speaking section. So for example, if you're doing the listening section and you finish early, don't immediately go to the speaking section. Just let the clock run out and listen to the person next to you and in front of you and behind you, and listen to what some of the questions are that they're doing. This will give you a good heads up as to what the questions actually are. You can do a little bit of preparation in advance. Alright? To follow up on that previous cheat, when you have your 10-minute break before the start of the speaking section, just sit there and listen to other speakers. You can't take notes on what they're saying, probably. I'm not sure. It depends on where you're taking it. But listen to it. Just sit there and listen to the other speakers. Get a good idea of what the subject matter is of all the different questions. This is going to help you. This will give you a leg up. Okay, so don't be so fast. Don't be so hasty. Use that 10-minute break well. Sit right there. Put your head down if you need to, but listen to the people around you. Take in that information, okay? That's a very, very helpful thing to do to give you a heads up on that speaking section. Some general key points about speaking. Answer the question, everyone. Answer the question. You cannot answer the wrong question, all right? Be direct. Don't talk around the answer. Don't sit up and say 20 words when something can be said in 3 words. Be direct. Be direct. All right? So that's very important for you to do that. Be direct. No extra words. Don't say any unnecessary words like "for 2 main reasons." These are a waste of time. All right, be very direct. No extra words. If each one of those extra words wastes a second. Support your answers. You can't simply state reasons without giving support with details or examples. So make sure that you support your answers and use strong verbs. Try not to use verbs like walk, talk, run, do. Try to use stronger verbs, and that'll help you getting your speaking score. Here's some more helpful tips for you. Questions will be read aloud. Use this time to begin preparing. Like I said, get some extra time. Make a quick decision and stick to it. Don't second guess yourself. You don't have time. Try to speak as much as possible. All right. You want to try to speak right up until that clock, but you should be doing your conclusion. Okay. You should be doing your conclusion. Don't try. You want to finish. All right. So I want to be clear with this part right here. And we'll change this a little bit. All right. You want to speak up to that clock ending and doing a conclusion. Okay. I think that's going to be a little bit better way of understanding it. Speak loudly. Don't worry about other people in the exam. Okay, the microphone needs to pick up what you say. Don't be concerned about that person next to you or the person behind you or in front of you. Speak in your normal voice and speak up. All right, speak up. All right, for question number 1, you must accomplish 3 things. All right, when you have those 15 seconds. All right, when you have those 15 seconds, you have to make your choice. Select one reason for your choice, and then select the second reason for your choice. Those are the 3 things you need to do in your 15 seconds. All right, reason 1, reason 2. All right, sometimes you might talk about both sides. So reason number 2 might be reason for not selecting a certain part. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm a big believer in using a template. The templates will help you to be organized, and the templates will help you in terms of being able to say all the necessary information. So remember, I told you there are 3 things you have to do with question number 1. 3. You want to get your choice. All right. You want to get your reason number 1, and you want to get your reason number 2. Now, even though within those 15 seconds you might not get your detailed example and your detailing example, all right, even though you might not get that, you want to have that blank line there, because it's a reminder to you that you must give your choice, state a reason, and then give a supporting detail and example, state another choice and give a supporting detail and example, and conclude. That's what you want to do. However, during those 15 seconds, your 3 main goals are choice, reason 1, reason 2. All right? But see, if you have an outline where you don't have the detailed example part already labeled there, so many students forget to do it. They'll say, The most favorite city that I've ever visited would have to be London. One reason that I like London a lot is because of the culture in that city. Another reason why I like London is because of the food. So you see, that's a bad job because for my first reason talking about the culture, I needed to give some detail or example connected to that. But if I don't have that written there as a reminder, this is a reminder to me. This right here is a reminder to me. All right? It's a reminder that I need to put that information when I'm speaking. I need to add that information while I'm speaking. So don't forget about it, okay? Don't forget about it. All right? Some people like to embed language within their templates, which is fine. Okay, which is fine. You can have embedded language within your templates. All right? And this is the kind of language that you want to remind yourself to use. All right? And so for the speaking section, one of the things that you should make sure that you do is during the instructional period, you should write down the template for all of your questions. All right? Before the speaking starts, there's normally going to be an instructional period of about 3 minutes. That's enough time for you to write your templates for all 6 questions. Write your templates out, and that way you already have a place to fill in your notes. All right? You have a place to fill in your notes, so make sure that you do that. All right? And we have a video lesson that talks about your instructional tasks that you have to do. All right? And so you have this question right here. What do you consider to be the most important quality of a supervisor? Use specific reasons and examples. So I put honesty, and I put my first reason promotions, and my second reason is dealing with disagreements. All right? And so if you're doing this particular kind of question right here, all I would do is just follow my outline. Follow my outline. All right? And so, if I were doing this question, I put an example of this question, my response to this question, but I'll do another response for you so you can get a good idea of how to do this particular kind of question. Okay? Honesty would be my choice as the most important aspect a supervisor could embody. To begin, the aspect of promotions is very important for a supervisor or manager in their job. With this idea of promotions in mind, the example of when I was performing at my job in the business world, I was up for a promotion, and even though I had a disagreement with my manager, we were able to move on because he was very honest and he gave me that spot. Not only promotions, but also disagreements are reasons to have a good manager or supervisor when it comes to honesty. So with honesty, disagreements and promotions are my supporting reasons for my choice. Alright, so it can go something like that. Another way that you can do it also, if we were saying that question, is maybe you'll say, honesty will be my choice as the most important quality for a supervisor. To begin, promotions are always something that a supervisor has to consider. With this in mind, the example of my business world job is when we had a disagreement with the supervisor, he still promoted me because he was very honest in his assessment, and this is very helpful. Not only with promotions, but also disagreements are why honesty is very important for supervisors. For example, I had a disagreement with my supervisor over a project, and he still was very honest when he figured out that I was actually correct. So disagreements and promotions are reasons why honesty is important for a supervisor. Okay? So you can also do the question that kind of way. Alright? You want to have your 3 main goals: honesty, promotions, disagreements. Alright? And then you have to be able to fill in the rest of those blanks. You have to be able to fill in the rest of those blanks, which is very important. All right, something that someone may say, they may use this kind of language right here in their speaking, which is fine also. All right, that's fine also in terms of language. You can always change up your scoring. You know, you can always change up your score by improving the language that you're using. All right. Some people will like to be able to use something a little bit more simple when they're speaking. For example, a student may say, "Well, you know what? That language is a little bit too difficult for me, and I want to do something that's a little bit easier for me to handle." All right, and so really, somebody can say, you know, they can start with just first, and they can have, for instance, all right, and for example. All right, and so this is a little bit more simple in terms of format for this particular question. And so if we're using this particular format, then we can do the exact same thing. It'll be just a little bit more straightforward in terms of how we're doing it. Okay. Honesty is the best aspect for a supervisor. First of all, handing out promotions is a job that all supervisors must do. And and when they're honest, this is done correctly. For instance, on my last job, my supervisor and I were having problems personally, but he was very honest in his assessment, and I got that promotion. Another reason why honesty is the best choice is when it comes to disagreements. For example, my sister had a disagreement with her supervisor at work on a project, but he saw that he was wrong and admitted it, and this helped their relationship. So these reasons are why I choose honesty as the best aspect for supervisors. Okay? And so, again, you know, you can move through it that way also. So again, just pick out a format or a form that you want to use and use it and just stick to it. Okay? And so we want you to be able to do a great job, all right, on what you're doing. This is right here, down here is a source. You can go and listen to some more examples by other people and other students. All right. So we hope that this overview of speaking question number 1 was very helpful for you. And then we're going to move on and show you some more examples of question number 1 in regards to practicing this question, and so you can hear some more examples. So thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing the course with you.